Welcome everybody to the Cleveland Browns 0-16 rebuild. We are moving on to the offseason today in the year 2033. Unfortunately, last episode, we did not follow through with our goal to win the Super Bowl. We actually lost pretty handedly to the Atlanta Falcons. We were just simply overmatched, and we could not make up for the loss of Perry Cummings. Anton Greenberry did not win his third ring, but he'll take one more year to try and do it at age 38. He has not retired. I can't believe it. We have one more shot maybe. Many players have retired, but no one on our team did. The player I want to see though is Jared Goff, because I think he was the oldest quarterback in the game. Brock Wall did retire, and if Jared Goff did too, I would assume that 38 is kind of the max for new quarterbacks. No, Jared Goff never retired. He is now 39 years old. So maybe Greenberry could still play 2 more years or make it to age 40. Who knows? But we're going to start off the offseason today with some re-signings. Now, we have a few key players here who are starters, Marshawn Essex and Quinn Evans. I do have some interest in keeping Evans, but I don't know if I should. He's an 83 overall. He's 29 years old. Safeties are just hard to come by in this game. For Lucas Enna, I'm not going to look to re-sign him right now at that price. We'll try to bring him back cheaper. I liked having him as the backup. That was great, especially because when he played, he apparently was very good. For Marshawn Essex, we could let him walk. But at the same time, we'd have to go get another defensive tackle, which we have had a pretty bad history in this series of re-signing tackles. We just don't do it on defense. Then there's Marvin Frazier, who's going to be entering his 3rd season. Essex would help make sure we don't have to focus on another starter here. So, you know what? He wants less than we've seen in the past for players like Gregory Long. So I think that while not what I'd normally do, I'm going to make this offer. Essex will sign. I was a little worried there that I might need to add a bit more, but that only takes $12 million out of our funds. We still have 37 left. Derek Gill had his chance to showcase in the postseason. We'll see if someone signs him to a big deal. I assume they will. I do want to keep Camdron Wake, but I believe we can do it at a cheaper price. Will Lawrence Glears take the cheap contract offer? Probably not, but we'll probably bring him back anyway. Marquise Peters, I don't think we're going to re-sign him. We'll let him hit free agency. And then it's just Evans and Enna. So Quinn Evans, I'd like to maybe think about keeping him. I'm not sure what the safety tag would be. The confidence boost does make him an 85 overall, so a bit better. Just for 4 years? I don't know about that. I'm going to test my luck in free agency like I usually do. So we're going to end up going to free agency now after making very few signings. So as we sit right now, offense is very good. I'd like to address defense more heavily in this offseason. We'll see what opportunities arise. We should, though, get another running back to back up Perry Cummings. On defense, now safety becomes an immediate concern. Strong safety already was. I should invest in a younger linebacker now to fill out our trio. I feel like our cornerback situation is good, and we can always address edge rusher. We have Bird over here on one side, Marshall Bird. It's time to get him another good player on the other side. Oh, that's right. Perry Cummings just turned 29. His speed is now down to 92. We've been here for the ascension of the great Perry Cummings. No, he's going to be exiting his prime. This is sad. Okay, time to see free agents we could possibly sign. We only have $10 million in cap room? Rarely in this series have we ended up with cap space concerns. It says 17.5. Oh, rookie reserve is 7, so we can only spend 10 toward the cap this year. A lot of it right now is going to our offensive line. Is there any money we could save? Wow, this is really surprising. I might need to cut some players for cap concerns, actually. I think that Mike LaFell makes a lot of sense here. He has a $2.65 million cap number, and he's not even our starter, so we're gonna probably actually trade him away. It feels like I always trade with the Cowboys for some reason. We'll try to see if we can get a 5th for LaFell, and we can. Alright, so that saves us some money. I'll go through what's available in free agency, and I'll cut somebody else if we really need to. If I had to make some more room, I'd probably end up getting rid of Marvin King. I just don't want to if we don't need to. I don't think that a $6 million cap hit for a wide receiver 3 is best for us right now, but free agency doesn't always have opportunities that I want to take advantage of. So for now, all we've done is get rid of a backup tight end, and we're going to see what's out here. So we have Devin Hester's younger brother, maybe, Dante Hester from Clemson, top running back available. Charles Lilia from Arizona, who defeated us that one time in the postseason. No, wait a minute. That would have been the Super Bowl. That Charles Lilia. Oh, man. That was not fun times here in this series. Vander Hearns is now available. Incredible. Lucas Enna still has 77 throw power. I'll put an offer out there again for Enna. I liked having him on the team last year. With there being a couple better quarterbacks on the market too, I wonder if Enna will come at a cheaper price. Let's go 6.5 here. That might be a bit greedy on my part, but we'll see if we get away with it for one stage. There's certainly a market here for Evans, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to really compete the way I like to. This apparently would eat up all of our cap space. I only have $4 million right now in available cap. Why? I guess I need to pull this offer then for Enna for the time being. Oh, because his entire salary and everything would obviously hit against the cap. I was only looking at signing bonuses for some reason. Yeah, we're going to have to clear some space. This is not going to be easy. I have not needed to do this in this series, which is pretty impressive, I think. I believe I want to get rid of the largest salary on the team, and that is Joseph Chung, who's currently set to make $18 million, or that's his cap hit this year. If we release him, we only have a penalty of 2.5, so it would open up a lot of space. It's not going to create a lot of space, but I am going to release some other players down here and try to get some new rookie contracts. This is really interesting how I've never had to face this challenge before in this series. I'm going to add Joseph Chung to the trade block right now and see what we could possibly get. I mean, it's really not feasible to have 5 really good offensive linemen and pay them all, yet we've done it for a majority of this series. So as it sits right now, Chung would be our second highest or third highest rated offensive lineman. We still have like McCarron, Yount, Boyd, and Copels. And then we can always put somebody else there on roster, like Leonard Charleston, who has quick development. I think that is honestly the best situation. I don't think that we should cut Chung and try to bring him back cheaper. I think it's just time to let him move on now. So I'll upgrade Charleston with what I can here, and I would be pretty happy with this being our starting 5. It's time to move on. So let's attempt to get Lawrence Glears back on the team then. I'm sure he'll accept this deal. And same here for Camdren Wake. Not a major contract here, but I think a fair one. As far as adding a safety, Quinn Evans is our best bet, and he's probably going to sign here in the first wave. We're just going to have to find a safety somewhere else. Alrighty, a really interesting offseason as we do get Lawrence Glears signed to a new deal. And there are no trade offers yet for Joseph Chung. I was looking to see who the Bears could possibly trade us at safety. They just signed Quinn Evans. They also have Trey Boone here, who is 26 years old, not very fast, and a better fit for a strong safety, which we also need. There's also Darian Sims here, who is 29 years old, so his career is going to start wrapping up. Maybe we're just best off finding some picks to acquire. So we're not going to get a first-round pick straight up for Joseph Chung. I didn't really expect to, but we can definitely get something valuable. Every team has their own value, too. Here's the Bills offer. A second-round pick for Joseph Chung? No, it'd be more like a 4th or 5th-round pick for them. That's why I'd like to see if we can just get some trade offers naturally and not go through it individually like that. So let's see how we could potentially fill our needs this year. We have a pick in every round, plus 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. On the draft board right now, we have 51 players, a little bit lower than we tend to have at this time. There are some good safeties in this class and really good athletes. Daniel Simmons from Alabama could be an early first-round pick, so not really in our range. Then there is Vaughn Swede, who's also an early first-rounder. Will they actually go that early? We'll see. Overall, these safeties don't have amazing top threes. I like the top 3 here for Swede with his zone coverage at B, but I can't count on that. And then I think Pierce Gilmore could be one of our better choices later on. Early 5th round talent, B- zone coverage, 4.51 speed is decent with good strength with the 22 bench reps. I think I'll target him. For pass rushers in this draft, we do have Ellis Shepard as an option, who is 24, but an early first-round prospect. Then there is Michael Wansley. So we could try targeting someone here, or what we could do, and maybe something I should be doing more often, is just starting players who are lower rated to get them the XP they need. So at end, we drafted so many players last year. For instance, Roy Nelson, who has normal development. He was only 21 when we drafted him, so I was interested in how well he could develop. There was also Gordon Barr on the other side now, a 73 overall player, 85 power. We could always start one of these players and try to get them the XP, rather than have them be on the bench and try to get to be a good player that way. It just doesn't seem to work out. Aaron Rulin still has quick development and that 89 finesse move, so maybe we can take a player like Rulin and just start him rather than take another mid-round player who would just make this even messier. If we can't take someone who's going to be like an 80 overall or just a terrific talent, maybe it's not worth it, honestly. Maybe we just have to go and find a more BPA approach to this draft. Lucas Enna now has an offer from the Raiders, so I don't see him choosing us. I'm not even sure I can make a good offer here. Yeah, 54 points, and that would basically tap out our cap room. So I'll find somebody else. There are options here. It's just backup quarterback. Actually, it's not that pressing. I forgot about Roland Iglesias a little bit. Didn't forget about him on the team, but forgot that, wait a minute, he could just be the backup. I only had Lucas Enna on the team because it was just such a unique opportunity I didn't want to pass on. So, you know what, we'll let Iglesias here handle the backup role this season. If he has to play, it'll do wonders for his development. So after further going through this offseason, I'm starting to think that maybe there are more internal fixes and solutions than I thought. And if we want these players to become better, they need to play. You can't just be on the bench and become an 85 overall. Well, I guess sometimes, like offensive lineman can in here because of the way the goal system is. I think the most pressing thing is to go get a safety and maybe another off-ball linebacker. Maybe 2 safeties. And a running back. Who doesn't want to draft one of those today? On to stage 3 now, and Camdron Wake accepts the contract offer. Still no trade offers for Joseph Chung. We're going to figure out something. I'm just hoping they give me some options here. There are always good wide receivers in these classes. Dwight Herman, number 23 on the overall board. Maybe he's somebody we could end up targeting. I think kind of a more BPA mentality is the right way to approach this draft. It's just, is there going to be the right fit? Would a player like Daniel Simmons be worth an aggressive trade-up if he falls out of the top 5? Same with Vaughn Swede. Would that be worth it? I don't know. The safeties don't usually have top 3s that really get me excited here. We have a really good outside linebacker here, Casey Frank, who's a pass rusher. We don't know really if he has good power or finesse moves, but his top 3 doesn't go lower than a B. He had an outstanding combine and is a B+ block shed player, so Frank could be someone we end up trying to trade up for. George Ramirez skipped the combine and he's 21 years old. He's worth scouting. Yeah, if he falls, George Ramirez, that could be an outstanding selection. Finally, we have some trade offers here in stage 4. Let's see if they are worth taking a look at. 2 4s and a 7, 5 4 7, 2 5s, a 3, a 2 and a 6, a 4 and a 6. These are underwhelming. They really are. Carolina is showing some of the most interest, so do they have anything else we would want in return? They didn't have anybody at safety I thought was intriguing, and then it would take like a pass rusher, and I doubt they would really be willing to trade one of their younger pass rushers here, especially with superstar development not going to happen. Oh, and they were offering, what, a future 3? Are you kidding me? There's no interest here in a 90 overall guard. At this point, do we even need to get rid of him if there's nobody we're going to sign or spend this cap space on? Maybe all of this was for nothing. Alright, well, we've done all the scouting that we can for now, and I'm not really excited about this draft class. We haven't done a lot in this offseason to strengthen the team yet. So I don't know what my approach is really for this draft. I like to get some safety help, but I'm not overly impressed with the safeties. So what do we do in that situation? Taking a look here at some draft stories, we have halfback Thomas Kershaw running the best 40, a sub 4.3. Dwayne Burrell, injury concerns after a bad ankle sprain. Wait, George Ramirez, didn't we end up scouting him? He's returning to Nebraska? Wow, he actually is going back to school. All right, I didn't know they actually would like drop out entirely. That's interesting. All right, let's get this going. Welcome to prime time, everybody. I have no clue how this is about to go. The NFL draft is set to begin. We did not make many changes to our team this year. Once again, the goal is basically to get some safety help. Safety is the biggest concern on the team right now. We should get another running back to back up Perry Cummings. That's obviously a necessity with his $20 million cap number. Receiver is just fine. Tight end is pretty strong. Offensive line is not a concern whatsoever. And then pass rusher, you can always use one. We have some pretty good ones on our team that we can develop. Off-ball linebacker. There's not a lot I want to get accomplished here. Let's try to make the most of it. So we'll sim through the first few picks and see exactly how the board starts to fall. The Minnesota Vikings on the clock at number 1. They go with the quarterback. Perfect. The more quarterbacks, the better here early on. KC takes Shepard. I thought he was a mid-round prospect. He goes number 2. Duffy goes number 3. And a safety goes number 4 to Denver. There goes Sweet and Simmons back to back. And I know trading up to this part of the board is already difficult enough. There goes Frank. And now the 10th pick by the Rams. They go guard. So for safeties, there's Jameek Farley, who is a first-round talent. We could try trading up for him. There's also Brendan Mecklenburg from East Carolina. Both safeties here are 24 years old. Mecklenburg should be available later. He had very good bench press at 27, and Farley shined in the shuttle. I think we'll favor Mecklenburg in this situation. Might have to trade up a little ways. I know it's not the most exciting thing we can do, but we have to address that need. And that means that I probably shouldn't go after these receivers. I thought Ramirez went back to school. I don't know if you could draft him or not. A wide receiver goes to Philadelphia, quarterback to Tampa. Come on, just keep the safeties on the board for me. Tackle, receiver. Now Green Bay takes a guard. Well, there goes Farley to the Bengals. And now a quarterback to the Ravens. We are attempting to trade up to go and address safety. Not sure if this is where I need to, but if the price is right, like a 4 or a 5, I'd love to move up for that. Detroit might be willing to do it for a 4. Will this get it done? No, it won't. That was hardly any change. Safety's not in their top 3, so I guess we'll risk it. Oh, of course. Not in their top 3. I am terrible at trading up from the 30s or the 20s. It is impossible for me to actually do what I want to do here. Mecklenburg goes to the Lions. So that goes to show you that just because something isn't in their top 3 doesn't mean they're not going to take it. So let's look at the available board right now. The best player available, Harvey Wallace, a tackle out of Texas who has fallen dramatically. George Ramirez is out there. It said he's going back to school, but he's available. So what happens if you select him? There are some quarterbacks here I did not take the time to scout. And then we get into the second round players like Leffie Banks, a great receiver, a lot of speed there, 4.34, B+ route running. I love a player like him. It's just, how do we address safety? I'll definitely have to remember now that Pierce Gilmore is my favorite safety available, and he'll be a very key target of ours. I'm just really confused about the whole Ramirez situation. He's obviously in the draft pool. No one's taken him yet. It says he's going back to school. I'm guessing that you can draft him and play with him. It's just a weird situation is up. Ramirez goes to the Jets. All right, so I guess at this point, just sim to our pick. I wasn't sure if I wanted to trade up for him. Probably didn't have to worry about it. We don't have to get a receiver that bad anyway. Man, picking late in these Maddens is not fun. The way the first round falls always catches me by surprise. We have Harvey Wallace here. He fell from an early first round spot. We could always add another offensive lineman, but it's not a need. I think instead what I'll do right here is we're going to trade this 1 for a 1 and a 2 next year from Chicago. There's not much I like in the first or second round in this draft. So let's just gear up for next year. Now we have some serious draft capital going into our next season. Maybe it's without Anton Greenberry. Maybe it's without Shadon Underwood or somebody. I have no clue what it could look like. But now, at least, we don't have to spend picks on players I don't think are worth this spot. Now we're going to trade back with Minnesota. Just a few spots to pick up a 6th rounder next year as well. Not really a big issue. The Vikings, meanwhile, they're trading up so they can take a running back. I like that choice. I don't want to take any chances here. I've liked Pierce Gilmore this whole time. I don't think he'll be a great prospect, but he checks the boxes. He has good enough speed. I like the strength there. B- coverage, C+ tackle. Gilmore's our pick here in the 3rd round. He is 54th in true talent. We select him at 65. 90 speed, 82 zone coverage, 76 tackle. Now, what I think I'll do differently this year is I'm not going to take a player like Gilmore and say, you're going to be a focus player and we're going to sign a veteran to play. No, I think we're just going to play him and let him develop that way and hope that it all works out, because we usually have a good defense anyway, and we have a great offense to back him up. Wow, I only have 21 players on my draft board right now. This draft class was not very good, and I have a lot of picks I still need to make. I don't know what this is going to look like at the end. There was even a player I had some interest in, but he was like a bust. He was a 2nd round pick who was actually a 4. He had C+ power, C+ finesse. He's already gone. So you have to overdraft some of these players if you want them at all. Okay, there is a really good player here that I was overlooking this entire time. Spencer Singletary from Harvard. We're looking for another good linebacker to add to this team. I'm not sure we're going to do any better than Singletary at this point. He has very good speed, great bench, great athleticism. We're going to make this one happen. Singletary, number 5 in true talent. The day has been saved. Oh my, superstar dev, 85 speed. This is fantastic. Wow. What a find here at the end of the 3rd round. This is absolutely incredible. He can cover. Now, I don't think I'll actually do it, but I wonder what his overall would be at safety, because he has enough speed to play safety, is a good tackler, is a good hitter, and has good enough coverage. He could literally play safety. I don't think we'll do it, but wow, what a player. Well, that certainly makes things look a whole lot better for us. Getting a linebacker and a safety already. We could use another safety now. I want to take a project at wide receiver. These players are so underrated. LaRon Klein here, all because route running and awareness is going to be low, maybe release as well. He's not going to be highly rated, but he has good enough speed, to go with 6'4", 220-pound size, and good hands. I say we add LaRon Klein and make him a long-term project. 65 overall. But once you raise the route running and awareness a little bit and release, I know that's going to take some work. But I think he's the kind of player that's worth having as a project. Yes, I love having back-to-back picks. Here we go in the 5th round now. And there's one player on my draft board I definitely want to take right here if he's still available. Actually, it was somebody else I was thinking of, but there is a player here that I want to select. He's 21 years old, had an outstanding bench, A- impact block. Joseph Vo is the selection, 60th in true talent. 74 overall with 88 strength, 81 run block. There's a terrific backup. I'm also going to take a chance here on a pass rusher, Deshaun Belcher from Michigan. We know he has at least good finesse and passable power move ratings. Well, and the athleticism shouldn't be horrible in really any department. So Belcher's the pick at 72 overall. That's a good value. And, he'll kind of just be in the mix there at defensive end. And now for one of my favorite parts of the offseason, it's time to select a running back, one I think could be a backup to Perry Cummings. We're going to select Darion McDougal from West Virginia, who's at 6'2", 219 pounds, running a 4.34 40-yard dash. We know he can juke, and his vision is above average. So how good is he? McDougal's the pick at 70 overall. This is a good place to take him. 72 trucking, 73 carrying. It will take some work to upgrade him, but there is a foundation here for a good player, I feel. Here's what the 6th and 7th rounds are for. We're selecting Verley Howard out of Texas Southern here because he was the fastest player in this draft class. 4.29. Howard, 62 overall. 70 route running, 83 catching. Is there anything else that he could do? 71 ball carrier vision. Now that is more geared toward running back skill. And our last selection of the day, round 7, pick 31. Let's try and find ourselves a good athlete to take. Here's a well-rounded athlete at safety, Mario Favors from Colorado. He's our selection at 66 overall. Coverage is not too great. Tackling and hit power are decent. Not sure if he'll make the roster, but maybe the practice squad. And that brings our draft to an end. Definitely not a very exciting one. I just didn't really want to trade up for those players early on, but we'll see how the first round safeties actually went. I wanted to see what their ratings actually are. So for us, we go and draft Pierce Gilmore as our first player. And I think that we'll just make him a starter right away and a focus player to try and elevate his skills. But Spencer Singletary was definitely a great find, and that gives us 3 formidable linebackers. That's going to be a lot of fun. LaRon Klein next, definitely a long-term project at wide receiver, maybe a practice squad player in year 1. Joseph Vo was a good find for us, but that's just offensive line depth, and we're already pretty good there. Deshaun Belcher, not sure he'll be able to separate himself in the very busy pass rush battle we already have. There is Darion McDougal here. I still think I have to go get another running back, maybe sign somebody. Then it's Verley Howard and Mario Favors. But let's go through the first round then and see exactly what we missed out on. Here's Jameek Farley, who went to the Bengals, and this would have been a good selection for us. 90 speed, 77 zone, 77 tackle. So we have a player here whose top 3 must have been something like B hit power, B pursuit, and C plus zone coverage. Those kinds of players don't normally get me all that excited for drafting them, but I guess I have to look at safety a lot differently than other spots that aren't going to have a lot of, high Bs or low As or anything that compares to other positions. We had no chance to select Daniel Simmons, but obviously he would have been fantastic. A superstar safety, 89 speed, 77 zone. Again, I bet that his top 3 didn't look great. Probably A- hit power, B pursuit, C plus zone coverage. With good athleticism, that makes an elite prospect in this game. Going through this, though, this was definitely a weaker class. Even the second overall player was only a 79 overall. Then at number 6, we have a 77 overall receiver who doesn't have a better development than normal. This feels like a class that overall just wasn't great. At least we didn't take a 66 overall linebacker in the first round. That's what the Super Bowl champions did. Vaughn Swede went number 5. He's a 77 overall. That development once again is there. George Ramirez, 82 overall. All because I was confused. 87 route running, 84 catching. Wow, Ramirez is going to be good. And then the Lions shocked me, not making the trade with us so they could select a player. We wanted superstar development. Maybe we could have gone up with a 3rd round selection. It probably would have been worth it too. But I'm not 100% sure the 3rd rounder would have gotten that deal done. But we were so close to having this chance. I've dropped the ball again with these drafts. The biggest thing is I don't think players are going to be all that great, so I'm not as willing to trade up for them. I'm interested, but not all in or anything. So I end up waiting, they go, we settle for less, and we don't end up the victors of the situation, it seems. 3 superstar development safeties. So they tried to give me a chance here, and I just couldn't do it. The first 2 we couldn't have reached anyway, but we definitely could have gotten Mecklenburg if I'd given up maybe a 3 and an additional pick. Not sure exactly what would have taken, but we were that close. Congrats to the Vikings for getting A.J. Peck in the first round. 85 short, 85 medium. Nice find for them. Won't be picking number 1 next year, I assume. I will move around some positions and get players into proper spots for next episode, but what did you think of this offseason? We certainly didn't get a lot better. More or less, the team is the same as a year ago. Wait a minute. Julian Wall has become available. We can sign him to a 1-year deal. Absolutely, I'm bringing back Julian Wall. There's a happy ending to the episode. We can always make more cap room if I need to, but I wonder if there's anybody else worth adding. I'm going to stay with the safeties we already had. I want to give them a chance to develop. So otherwise, I guess running back was something I was willing to still look at. Maybe I won't address it quite yet then if the best is only 78 overall at 32 years old, and then to get to the 20s, you have to go to 74 overall, and that's not too far away from McDougal, who's a 70 as a rookie. So I'm not going to add anybody else right now, but Julian Wall is at least back in Cleveland. That's pretty exciting. Not sure what his role is going to be. Could he possibly play running back? 79 vision, 79 elusiveness. Why couldn't Julian Wall play a little bit of running back to end his career? Oh, only a 73 overall. Okay, we'll move him back to wide receiver. I probably won't even play him over Stackhouse. It's just kind of cool to have him on the team again. And if someone did get hurt, like he is the kind of player that you'd want to step up. So before anybody else can sign him, we will keep him on our roster, but probably not play him. All right, so this team looks very similar to the team that lost the Super Bowl a season ago. Are we going to be able to get better, though, at the safety spots or at end? Is there still a trade we need to make? We did acquire some picks, so if there is a trade that has to happen next episode, we're able to do that. But we'll see if it comes down to it. Definitely not my favorite offseason, a challenging one. But I'm still hopeful that we can do well this season and have a shot to win the Super Bowl one more time for Anton Greenberry. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments section. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all with more Browns rebuild shortly. Have a great day, everybody.